Hello there, tape enthusiasts and planet Earth. Today we're talking about Steve Reich's 1966 piece entitled Come Out, which was composed and assembled using tape loops. Here is a snippet. Born in 1987, I've basically come of age in a time when there are cameras in everyone's pocket. There are some things you could have predicted humans would use this for. Scenery, photos of food, pets doing adorable things. However, we have also seen at this point countless atrocities. Many unarmed black men and women being murdered on the streets and in their homes. So today I'm going to briefly talk about the Reich piece you just heard an excerpt from and why it's relevant today. That voice you heard in the beginning of the piece is Daniel Ham. In April of 1964, police in Harlem's 32nd Precinct tried to beat a confession out of Ham and Wallace Baker for a crime they did not commit. In an interview at the nearby Friendship Baptist Church a few days after the incident, the 18-year-old Ham recounted being brutalized in shifts by 6 to 12 officers over the course of the night. And I'm quoting, "They got so tired of beating us, they just came in and started spitting on us." But even after hours of abuse, the cops weren't about to allow Ham to be admitted for treatment since he was not visibly bleeding. Thinking on his feet, Ham reached down to one of the swollen knots on his legs where the blood had clotted beneath the skin.
I had to open the bruise up and let some of the bruised blood come out to show them.
Civil rights activist Truman Nelson asked Reich to make a sound collage on the second anniversary of the so-called Fruit Stand Riot. Out of 70 hours of interviews, Reich chose those 20 words you hear spoken by Ham. That story unfortunately gets far worse. Please check out some of the links in the description regarding the Harlem Six, their unjust convictions and imprisonment. So, music with context. Reich was totally unknown at this point in his life and had been recently driving cabs in San Francisco to earn a living while making music in his spare time. The predecessor to Come Out, or Reich's self-proclaimed Opus 1, is called It's Gonna Rain. In San Francisco's Union Square, Reich recorded a preacher's sermon about end times. And to give context, this was just after the Cuban Missile Crisis. He cut 2 tape loops of his preferred portion, and he played them simultaneously. Since there's no way to make a perfect cut, and the motors on his machine are far from perfect, you can hear the 2 voices begin to drift apart. Without any pitch alteration, 2 looped voices produce a musical rhythm and melody. We hear this every day when we're speaking with each other, but we rarely think about it. Our tone, our melodies in speech imply so much to the receiver. Our tone, our melodies in speech imply so much to the receiver. Our tone, our melodies in speech imply so much to the receiver. Anger, guilt, ecstasy, shame, fear. This concept takes on profound meaning in Come Out, and that's why I wanted to bring it up again in today's context. I was thinking of doing a tape loop tribute to Reich's Come Out. It's a very important work. I initially thought of so many of those recordings that we've seen captured from phone cameras. I thought about looping protesters. I thought even about using the words of George Floyd himself. I'm definitely not comfortable desecrating the spirit of lives lost, nor do I wish to exploit that or these moments. Instead, to experiment with Reich's tape loop technique, I chose a segment of one of America's most important living philosophers, Dr. Cornel West. I'm going to close the video with a clip from that piece. You can find the whole piece in the description. And I thank you again for listening. Peace, and be good to each other.
American culture more and more becomes a joyless quest for pleasure, insatiable pleasure, never get enough of it, endless, bottomless, and the inability to really be committed to love. The inability to really be committed to love, 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 committed to love.